So today's question is, yo, Elliot, how do I go about finding a better group of friends? A group of friends who have the same values. And so when I heard your question, the very first thing I thought of is in Jack Donovan's book, The Way of Man, he says that men go the way of the gang. The way of the gang is the way of men. And in that, you have this understanding that gangs do stuff. So when men get together in groups, we got to have something to do. We either have to go and fight an enemy or go create something, go build something, go destroy something, go make something happen. Men don't come together to talk. Women do that. Women get together to yak. They talk about stuff. Men get together to attack, to go do something. And so when Jack Donovan says the way of man is the way of gang, you got to understand that that is a threat to the powers to be. Those who lord over us. They don't want men to get into gangs. You see what happens when young men aren't given proper brainwashing, proper instruction, and proper entertainment in the inner cities. What happens is and proper leadership. What happens is they end up getting into gangs. And so as a result, you got gangs of men that deal drugs, that commit crimes, that do all kinds of treacherous, rebellious, and damaging things to society. So society abhors groups of men getting together in this natural gang structure. In the book, he continues to speak about how this is our natural structure. He does a really good job of describing how, there's certain amount of numbers that are associated with certain types of groups. But anyway, he makes it pretty evident that it's natural, it's normal, it's our tendency, it's in our DNA for men to gather together in gangs. Now, like I said, gangs of men can be threatening because we're doers. We get together and we collectively, in small groups, put our strengths and put our heads together. We can get some pretty damn powerful things done. I mean, you think about the American Revolution and the gang of founders, the founding fathers, right? And you think about the militias that were put together in order to fight the global superpower at the time. It's part of the reason why the Second Amendment was created, because the gang that created America, the founding fathers, they recognized that at some point there's going to be another overlord, there's going to be another tyranny, there's going to be another government that wants to manipulate, control, destroy, and we're kind of in that place right now. And that's why there's so many people that are against the Second Amendment. The reason why the Second Amendment was there was so that men can create militias, because they recognize when a government becomes tyrannical that men will need to be forced to, will naturally gang up together, grab their guns, and get shit going. I don't want to make too many predictions about what's going to unfold here in our society as things begin to expose the weaknesses that are inherent in our current way. All kinds of stuff I couldn't even imagine in terms of technology and the technocracy that is unfolding. We're moving into some pretty crazy times, unstable times. But you know what they say, right? Tough times make strong men. So I can just predict that as a result of these tough times that are unfolding because of this quote unquote pandemic that we're dealing with, that as things begin to collapse and disintegrate, groups of men are going to start coming back together again. Groups of men are going to form, particularly here in America, right? Because we got guns. They're going to start creating little militias. Again, I'm just predicting this based on history, based on DNA, based on what has happened. It was always happened, but we're living in different times, right? And so anyway, that's just a little bit of my prediction of how things will ultimately unfold if we survive this pandemic. So men get together in gangs, gangs need to get things done. And so for the most part, because men don't need to get anything done, we don't have to hunt anymore, we don't have to fight anymore, we don't have to do pretty much anything, we end up getting together with guys that that we end up doing just degenerate shit with, playing video games, drinking together, and that's really, it boils down to it, entertaining ourselves together, right? So you're not really a gang with most of your friends. Most guys get together because they just need somebody else to waste time with. And, you know, to be completely honest, because unless you're starting a business or corporation or an actual sports team, you're usually just getting together with your guys in order to shoot the shit, play video games, watch TV together, or get drunk together, right? Unless you guys start getting itchy and you decide, like, we gotta go do something, go get into something, let's go start some trouble. One of the ways that society has set things up so that men don't gang up and cause trouble is I learned this recently in another book, Tough Times Create Strong Men by Stephen Arnio. He says that when we started bringing boys and girls together in school, part of the reason was to soften up the tension that grows with boys together. When boys grow together, we get tough. Boys can't help it. They just become little gangsters. But when girls are there, it sort of breaks up the party a little bit. So you see that, you know, this whole effeminacy, this effeminization of our society is pretty strategic. In order to keep men from becoming gangsters, you got to put the girlies in there, right? You got to distract them with the girls, teach the girls how to dress in a promiscuous way so the boys are distracted by all the titties and legs and skin hanging out, and therefore we don't get into, you know, violent things. Not making any judgments, you know, it is what it is. And then, of course, you know, we're different than women in that they typically get together and gossip. And then also, just one more quote from Tough Times Create Strong Men. Stephen Arnio says that men solve problems. One of his chapters is called Men Solve Problems, and Video Games Solve Men. So you see really quickly, like, if there was no video games, if there was no entertainment, we'd be looking for problems to solve. We'd be probably creating problems to solve, right? Like, if there isn't an enemy, we'd make an enemy. Or we would wake up out of our stupor and see who the enemy really is, right? There's an enemy. Don't think there ain't no enemy. There's an enemy. But we can't see it. We're so blind and we're so dumbed down and we're so distracted with titties and entertainment, you know. But anyway, I'm just kind of ranting on this a little bit here for you. I do have a solution, dude. I do have some advice for you. It's not all doom and gloom. So as a result of my line of work, what I do, my service, my ministry in the world, I bring men together. That's what I do. I bring men together online, and I bring men together in camps. I do long camps, you know, multi-day camps, shorter camps. But anyway, I went about learning how to strategically get men to bond. And I came across this book. I'm going to highly recommend you get this book. It's called The Men's Group Manual. Really, really, really good book that is tactical. It's not too much about theory and why it's good for men to get together, although it is good for men to get together for a number of good reasons. It's about how to get men together. And so just going briefly through the names of the chapters here, just so you have, you know, I don't get anything if you buy the book, but I think I can help you out by encouraging you to do what's in this book so that you can form a gang, men's group. Intentional community is another way to call it. Intentional community, i.e. gang. By doing what's in this book. So chapter 2 is what is a men's group, you know, it's pretty basic. Chapter 3, shaping an intentional community. This is about you being intentional about the friends that you're going to bring together. It's not going to happen by accident. That's the other thing. Bringing men together doesn't happen by accident. Most guys aren't walking around looking for friends, right? Usually we become friends either out of just proximity and it's convenient, or because shit hits the fan and we band together. This, on the other hand, is about being intentional, and you literally have to market your men's group. You can't be afraid to get out there and and sell your men's group. And it doesn't. And I'm not saying you charge for it. It's not. This is not something you charge for. You can if you want. I don't know. But it's a matter of putting out the right bait. That's what marketing is. Putting out the right bait and vetting people. You don't want just anybody in your group. So he goes on to chapter 4 and says, optional commonalities, right? So some commonalities are faith, age, political views, ethnicity. He talks about the need for commonalities, right? And it's not about bigotry or being prejudiced or hating people that are different than you. But if you're going to put together a gang, you're going to put together men that are going to trust one another and bond together, you ought to have the same values. Like you said, you wanted a group of men with the same values. Then you got to kick out the guys that don't have the same values, right? And it's better to be in a group of men that all have the same values so that you're not compromising the integrity of the group, right? This is so anti-tolerance. When you're creating a men's group, when you're creating a group of men, when you're putting together like-minded men in this particular way, there's no room for tolerance. I think tolerance is one of those sissy catchwords that we use these days that allow us to have no boundaries about anything. Well, you gotta have boundaries about your men's group, and he tells you how to kick people out. But really, before you have to kick people out, you gotta vet them. This guy doesn't belong. There's some people that just don't belong, and you gotta know who doesn't belong. Meeting logistics, membership, men you know, men you don't know. You know how to reach out to men you know and how to find men that you don't know. I read through the whole book and I've used a lot of these tactics and strategies in my program, so they work. Finding new members. He talks about how to write a message, put it out there, responding to replies. But then what's really fascinating, what's really awesome, I don't totally love the way he does it, but I love the idea. He's got the first 8 meetings. What to do, right? Because when the men get together, like I said before, we're not naturally gabbers. We're not just gonna get together and gossip. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get together and be like, all right, so what's up? What are we doing? What are we up to? Where is the enemy? Who are we gonna attack? What are we gonna build? What are we gonna do? Men are doers. We get together. Man, we're so powerful when we get together and do stuff. That's why they keep us separate. Don't let them get together. If we get together, it's gonna be damaging. We're gonna fuck some shit up. But anyway, he gives you stuff to do. This book was not written during the pandemic and the looming collapse. It was written maybe like 10 years ago. So if I had to write this book over again, I might write it with the mindset of a patriotic mindset. Grab your guns, boys. Grab your guns, grab your food. It would be good to put together a survival group right now. Actually, I've been thinking about that, like in my neighborhood. Put together a survival group, like look out, because crime is gonna go up. There's a good chance crime is gonna go up during this pandemic because people ain't going to work. People ain't got money. People need shit. They gotta feed their families. So putting together a posse, neighborhood lookout. I'll hang out on top of my roof with a shotgun, with my AR, and walkie-talkies and shit like that. That'd be fun. Like, remember when you were a kid? That's why I know it comes natural to a kid. Remember playing like Cloak and Dagger when you were a kid? At least my generation. I'm Generation X. You guys, we grew up without video games, so we would do like we would play like army games. We'd have walkie-talkies, we'd have guns, and we'd like run and hide and shoot shit. Shoot each other. Not really shoot each other, but shoot each other. We played war. And no one had to teach us how to do that because it comes naturally to men. Gangs. So first 8 meetings, what to do, other activities. Some of it's pretty gay, just to be honest. Not that there's anything wrong putting together a homo group. If you're gay and you want to put together your gay group, go right ahead. But some of the stuff is pretty weak. Optional rituals, things to do. I think exercise. I think one of the best things to do to get together with a group is to train, right? Like we're gonna train together, like gym buddies. And it's better than gym buddies, meaning like going to the gym. Somebody should have like a home gym and like you guys get together in a private gym buddies and you train together, push each other. That's dope. That's kind of like been my gang growing up these years. Is like guys in my basement. And then like when I started Strength Camp, that's what it was all about. Strength Camp was a gang. We lift together, then eat together, and all kinds of stuff like that, right? So that's one of the things you could do. It might sound strange, but there's power in men singing together, right? It keeps morale strong, having like a group chant, whatever. But so there's those things, meeting topics, so on and so forth. And he even talks about men exiting and joining the group, how to keep your group going. So that's it. So that's it, man. My whole point here is that it's good for men to get together in gangs. It's normal, it's natural. We need to do it. The world has kept us separate by not allowing us to do this. I have a feeling that as things get more tense in our current situation, that men are going to start banding back together again. It's good for men to get together, and there's an intentional way to do it using some of the ideas in this book. And there you have it, dude. I hope that helps you. Talk soon. Done.